Hello guys, and here's tutorial number 2. This will be like the basics and stuff. Like I said in the last video, I'm still kind of freaked out being alone, but whatever. Okay, so first thing you're gonna wanna know is like when you jump down there, usually you'll spawn in an infection lobby. I'll show you what an infection lobby looks like in maybe a video, in this video or next video. But anyways, so a lot of people, they try to run like this because I think it makes them faster, but there's like a max speed you can go, which is about this speed. And so how you're gonna run, instead of like using both hands or, like hitting upwards instead, you want to hit like push yourself forward. So like you jump from one hand to another, pushing yourself forward. So you also want to push parallel to the ground. For example, you don't want to continue just pushing forward up this hill because it'll make it a little bit difficult. You'll want to push like slanted. So for example, right here, you just gotta like, walk up like this. But for here, you're gonna want to walk up like this. So slightly upwards. Same over here. You're gonna want to push upwards instead. There's another variant of walking. I would recommend not using it until you get better at the game. It's called funny running, so you do motions like this. Now for me, I put my hands over to the side, and I do this. I tend to hit my controllers a lot. It's not exactly the best for like controls and stuff. But yeah. Then there's wall bouncing. When you're in tutorial, you'll either be greeted with like a little slant, where you'll have to either walk up the slant, or you'll have to go. You'll see some arrows, and it'll show the arrows. And if you went that way, you probably would know how to wall bounce at least a little bit. But anyways, so most of the time when you wall bounce, you'll wall bounce between two somewhat close walls. For example, these double walls are behind stump, or like between, a tree or something. But that's a little bit too far for just regular wall bouncing. There's so many variations on like wall bounce, wall running, and stuff. Anyways, so you want to kind of start in the middle, and I tried to teach my brother this. So you don't want to like push backwards, because if you push backwards, that's gonna happen. You want to make sure you're doing it to your sides and not hitting backwards. For example, this, and you just want to hit from one wall to another, making sure to use your wrist. The next thing you're gonna do, it's a way faster way to get up here. In some people's heads, it's easier. For example, in my head, it's easier. But it's called pinch climbing. Here's an example. And you don't have to go this fast. When you start, you probably want to start really slow, but you with your arms, you want to do motions like this, so little ovals or circles. And while you're doing that, like, you want to circle your hands too. And you also want to make sure when you do the little circles, you want to pull in, because if you just pull upwards, you're just going to do that. So like this. See, that's what happens when you don't pull in. This is what happens when you do pull in. It took me a while to realize that, but yeah. And another thing you're going to want to know is your arms, they have zero collision. They cannot collide with objects. And also your fingers don't. The only part that does is like your palm. And even the bottom of the palm doesn't really collide that much. It's mostly just like between the bottom of the fingers and in between the bottom of the fingers and like the top of your thumb. Or, yeah. Because as you can see, hand doesn't collide. No, it's at the bottom of the thumb, my bad. So it doesn't collide anywhere from the bottom of the thumb below, from the bottom of the fingers below, or above, my bad. And so when you branch, you just gotta ignore your arms completely, just focus on where your hands land. Another thing I tend to tell beginners is when you go to hit off a branch, you want to keep at least like about one in-game foot, because it's a lot harder to hit, when you have this tiny sliver of space. versus when you have like, a big chunk. So a lot of the branches at the end, they'll tend to like curve, and you want to kind of hit before it curves. Even this branch curves, but just a little bit. And here's a course to get on top of a stump, because getting on top of a stump is one of the first accomplishments you can get. So, you just get on top of a stump. Basically it. But there's a couple of ways you can get up there easily. Let me check if the music. Yeah. Okay, anyways. One way you could do is you go up here. Then there's two ways from here. This is the way I do it, so you jump up here, then you hit pretty hard, remember, keep about 1 to 2 in-game feet away from the end. Hit up to here, or down here. And you can either pinch climb on the side of the tree, because, like, you can pinch climb whenever you see one of these edges. So, you can pinch climb up here, and then, like, hit over here, or an slightly easier way in some people's heads is you go down to this branch, you put your hand about here, about here, hit upwards, go down here, then hit up onto stump. Another way, this is a way that people that are like a little bit better at the game use, they pinch or wall bounce up here, they get up here one way or another. They'll jump to this wall, or if they already started down here, just stay on this wall. They'll jump down this branch, hit here, and then continue with either my way or sorry, either they'll do it my way, and then or they'll do it the other way, where like you go down to this branch, you hit over here, up here, and then just continue down onto stump. And now, in my personal opinion, I don't find this like as a basic. It's called wall running and wall climbing. And so when you wall run and wall climb, what happens is so the motions you're gonna want to do, I'll probably need to go more into depth in the next video, if I do make a next video. So if you've ever skied before, it's kind of like skiing. You hit from one wall to another. And one thing you're going to want to know is when you hit on the wall, you want to make sure your hand is like flat against the wall. Because if it's like here, now I'm a little bit better at it, but yeah, this does affect it and it can make it harder. So a lot of people say to make like a triangle, which can also help. Which then you keep it in a triangle, then you bounce from one wall to another. And one thing you go on to know is you don't bounce away from the wall. You want to bounce like left and right. It's kind of like wall bouncing, but on a corner instead of like to your sides. So the motions with wall bouncing, just try like change it over, like do the same motion maybe, and try doing it so it's more like in a curved way. And then wall running, in my opinion, I find it easier. So you want to put your hand flat against the wall, or some people do it like they have the back of their palm against the wall. I only really do that with my left hand because that's my non-dominant hand. But then you want to kind of like just hit upwards. And then now if you want to go more upwards than downwards, you want to do bigger strokes. But if you want to go like faster, then you're going to do smaller strokes. Now for me, I've gotten a little bit better since like before, and I can do them really fast, in my opinion. And now that's not until later. I didn't like learn that until since like a week ago. And then there's Lucio running. Now I don't even really know how to Lucio very good, but how people have explained it to me is you like put down these two fingers to help you kind of make a box, and then do like so with one hand. I'll show you up here. So with one hand you're gonna want to do this, and the other with this, so it's kind of like this. Let me see if I did that correctly. Usually you want to do it with your dominant hand to whatever side. So I can't really Lucio very good. Just a sec, I have to fix my grip. And also another thing you want to know is that like you can buy hand grips off Amazon stuff. I have a hand grip. It helps me so like it doesn't fall, because a lot of time before my hands would get really sweaty, because a lot of time I get sweaty and then it would just like drop, and then I would get tagged. So if you enjoy the game enough, maybe get some hand grips. But the little Oculus, like the built-in grips, those I would recommend putting your hands through, because otherwise you can like whack yourself and drop your controllers and break your controllers. Let me see if I can. Okay, in the next video, I'll explain the more complicated stuff like wall surfing over there, how to beat the competitive thing. Anyways, that's it for today's tutorial, or just the tutorial overall, and I'm gonna make another one. Bye.